The sun does not charge these. This is not a solar computer.
Okay, sun with an O.
Oh.
Yeah, correct.
So you let your son work with your tools like this and not put them back correctly?
He's learning
Okay.
the process. He got it into the rack to where it was. He failed to connect the charging wire. These are so easy to use. We're talking about Chromebooks here. That
The sun does not charge these. This is not a solar.
Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, sun with O. We have it going on in the background too.
Oh.
Thank you.
Let your son.
Cool.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. He's learning process.
So you're going to stop that.
He got it into the rack where it was. All right. Are you still here?
Yes, we are here.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Father,
oh, you go ahead.
Precious Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing Gerald and I here this morning. Thank you for your blessings on our families. Thank you for our jobs. Thank you for the folks here at Brooklyn Cafe that lovingly prepare our food each Wednesday. And thank you for your word. We're going to study in more detail today. And I ask all this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ.
Amen. It's a mystery. Steve's going to call or not. It's a mystery.
I think he's taking the summer off.
I think he is too. What's wrong? Nothing.
He's got some castles to build. Wow, that's some thick bacon.
No, I just think I'm crispy. "10 keys to God's character." Is that some kind of a pointer of where we're getting ready to go?
10. 10 is a it's a pretty important number in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think this lesson is going to?
Keychain? Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
Great.
Great.
How are you?
Keychain? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, got to be with 10 keys. If you know it was on a chain, you're going to lose one or two of them. Okay, if you don't have a chain, they may not have had, well, they could have had some chains, but if you don't have a chain, your second choice is to put them on a tablet. Not
Maybe
an
you-
Apple.
A stone tablet?
Hmm.
There you go.
So, Exodus 20, 1 through 21 says, that's the setup. The most convincing orders are those issued in simple words. Stop, go, or slow down. No misunderstanding them. In military training, soldiers learn split-second obedience to concise commands. Their survival depends on it. In Exodus 20, God speaks 10 words, the most majestic moral commands ever spoken. There's more than 10 words. The clearest rules for humanity's welfare. Good morning.
Good morning.
They are the foundation of personal and national life. They also reveal God's character. In this passage, Israel learns that God, more than the God of food, water, military victories, and natural calamities.
Can I go ahead and say it? Dun, dun, dun.
Is this where we watched the Charlton Heston movie?
Yes. Okay, that was just music. Hopefully you're not that loud music. Okay, back.
Exodus.
Earthquake.
I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the and fourth generation
Great,
of
yourself?
those who hate me, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. A little bit more detail than I remember. Typically we don't go into that much detail when talking about the 10 Commandments and that particular commandment. Right. No other gods before me. Okay, go on to the next one.
Right. Because we get the abridged version, and that is the strongest commandment, the first commandment.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't that in life? I mean, yeah, we know you got it. So you go on.
But this section in here, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generations, by showing love to 1,000 generations for those who love me and keep my commandments. It's pretty, extreme range there.
No, probably just it's making legacy. So to show how important it is, it's going to affect generations.
Yeah. You are not to use lightly the name of Adonai, your God, because Adonai will not leave unpunished someone who uses his name lightly, which is the same thing as saying you shall not use the Lord's name in vain, which is another translation that most people do. I'm not sure if that's a
Flippantly.
Flippantly. It's not just cursing.
Right. No, it's
God's gonna get you. Things like that.
right.
Or, yes, I guess saying what God will do when you have no idea what God will do.
Right.
This next one, one that I always struggle with. Remember the day, Sabbath, to set it apart for God.
Morning.
Good morning. You have 6 days to labor and do all your work. The seventh day is a Shabbat for Adonai, your God. On it you are not to do any kind of work. Not you, your son, or your daughter. No mowing the lawn on Sunday. Not your male or female slave, not your livestock, and not the foreigner staying with you inside the gates of your property. For in 6 days God made the heaven and earth and sea and everything in them, but on the seventh day he rested. This is why bless the day, separated from himself. It's, but I find myself on occasion, I mean, I did it on Sunday as well. I spend a little bit of time working. I don't,
It makes you wonder. I mean, God goes, okay, people are not taking it's part of a health thing. I mean, you can just work yourself to death.
yeah, I know that's one that I could do better at.
Oh, David, quit beating yourself up.
In fact, eh, and then I'd like to, how do you rest? I guess maybe it's part of it's got to be it's a mental thing, right? It's don't do your work. I'd like to work more in the shop. In fact, I'm tuning up some of my equipment, get prepared to do a woodworking project, and build some shelves, some freestanding um, shelves, um, filing cabinet things. Can be made out of mesquite.
Mesquite, really? Be nice.
I made a desk out of mesquite about 4 years ago, and I'm gonna make shelves that match the design style. So I tuned up my joiner, waxed the top of my table saw, get some things prepared.
Honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land which Adonai your God is giving to you. Do not murder.
That's interesting. Do not murder. You shall not murder. It's an implied you.
Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not give false evidence against your neighbor. Do not covet your neighbor's house. Do not covet your neighbor's wife, his male or female slave, his ox, or anything that belongs to your neighbor.
All the people experienced the thunder, the lightning, the sound of the shofar.
The shofar.
Well, in this translation, when the people saw the thunder and lightning and heard the trumpet,
So it's the shofar.
yeah, and saw the mountain and smoke, they trembled with fear. They stayed at a distance and said to Moses, "Speak to us, and we will listen, but do not have God speak to us, or we will die." What a weird thing to say. I mean, it must have been really frightening. To audibly hear the voice of God, I don't. Maybe.
Well, because God is perfection, and then even His voice would be enough to where they would get judgment on themselves.
Maybe so.
So that's how wicked they believe they are, which they are. We are.
Do not be afraid. Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid. God has come to test you so that the fear of God will be with you to keep you from sinning." Okay, so it was an imposed upon fear. People remained at a distance while Moses approached the thick darkness where God was. Hmm.
I'm off here,
Here.
down here.
It's not the. We stopped at 21, but
Oh, that's 21?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, discovering the word.
see what this is?
Honey?
This is God's nectar right here.
I like honey. Sophia. Sophia is good.
Honey on anything.
I think that's true. So, what right did God have to issue these commands? Okay. Just for my personal experience, He created everything. He owns everything. Tells us what to do. Doesn't say in the Bible.
It says, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery.
Okay, so he's now going, okay, not only did I create you, I brought you out of something that made you grow.
God spoke all these words, not Moses. And that's a little nuance that I hadn't really picked up on. And then, further backed up later by, they said, oh, please, speak for God, don't let us hear him, because we're frightened. That it's only during this time that God spoke to everybody at once.
I guess they weren't listening.
What reason does God give for prohibiting idolatry? Well, the reason, says verse 4, but really the command is, you shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the waters below. What reason does God give for prohibiting? I think you go back to number 2. I am the Lord your God, not that idol.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have to give a reason. Maybe that's it.
I'm thinking that he's a jealous God,
Yes.
and he did it. Anybody else is imposters. You and your honey life.
Anything else is imposters too.
How would you interpret the promise given to those who honor their parents? Legacy. We talked about that.
Well, you may live long in the land which God has given you. Legacy. Yeah. And honor is honored. Murder and adultery, verses 13-14, are not just external acts, they are matters of the heart. See Matthew 5:21-30. Gehinnom. And if your right hand makes you sin, cut it off and throw it away. Better that you should lose one part of that you have, one part of you, than have your whole body thrown into hell.
So, don't be hating.
Don't be hating. Don't be hating. Don't be selfish. Don't be
Lustful.
lustful.
In what way is coveting a wrong not only against our neighbor, God, but just the whole thought of it? You're saying that God doesn't give you enough. God
The
is
things
not,
you want.
it's all, yeah. Good morning, sir.
What
It's
are
the
you
legend.
doing here?
How are you?
Oh my gosh.
How you guys doing?
You gotta come over here. All right, let's get over, dude. Yeah, we're live.
You're live? All right.
We thought you were at a castle.
No, not today. No. I came early,
You did
but
not
not
come
early
early.
enough. I thought you guys were meeting at 6:30.
No,
No.
6. Oh.
Well, you got to eat, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
They
I'll
open at
I'll,
6.
I'll be on time next week.
You here next week?
Yeah,
Okay. How long are you in town?
till the 15th, Monday the 15th.
You rock, dude.
So, yeah, we're waiting for two grandkids to come.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Julie and David are due on the 8th next week, and Julie's adopted mom is due on the 7th.
Oh, right. I didn't remember her having twins, but
Yeah.
they're adopting and she's.
Wow.
No, not Julie. Julie's not pregnant.
Oh.
Aaron's wife, Christy, is pregnant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're in Corpus Christi, and Julie and David are in New Braunfels. They moved to.
They moved back.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
I am. I'm able to be here, but we're just parents in waiting right now.
You're not getting anything done.
No.
He's practicing his papas.
Well, I'm trying to get settled back into finding a desk in the Houston office and started.
That would be
just
nice.
Working out of there. So
Yeah.
that's what I was doing yesterday. I had forgotten to get my car insurance up to date, so I had to get that done yesterday before I went.
Galvan
down
around.
the road. That's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you're trying to get a desk in the Houston office just for the week?
Yeah. 2
Or
weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah. And set up a few meetings that, kind of were the core of my trip.
And then what's your major schedule look like? You there for another 6 months?
Till December. December 18th. I'm home right now, but it looks like the way things are going that it may be another 3 to 6 months after that. But I'm just
You're ready.
trying to evaluate that. I would rather just be coming home, but the way the work is going, it looks like it needs to be there. So, anyways, we're kind of digressing. So you guys got started yet?
Yeah, we're right here about coveting.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So what do you cover? Other people's cars?
No,
No, you don't. Cars not a big deal to you?
I think cars are cool, but it's not something to covet over.
Yeah.
Yeah, cars. I mean, on occasion. I mean, just,
No, his is woodworking tools.
Yeah.
I covet the time to use the woodworking tools.
Yeah,
That would
that's, that's an interesting one. Yeah.
He's talking about his mesquite shells that he's working on. I'm like, mesquite?
Okay, come over and get some training.
He knows what he's doing. He has all his fingers there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I wanted to get trained from a guy who knows what safety is all about. That's it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, this of the 10, it's really interesting. The first few deal with God. The last first 3 first the next 6, then deal with actual physical things that you can judge.
Mm-hmm.
The last one, though, that's the heart issue, man.
That
Nobody
one
can
goes right
see.
to the heart.
Yeah, nobody can see that.
But they also brought up murder and adultery is not just external; it is internal.
Yeah,
That's the way we discussed over there.
yeah, and Jesus, kind of went through these, and he said, yeah, it's not just looking, just not the physical act. It's looking and thinking in your heart.
Hate and lust.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this last bit, but against God. So, we can sometimes see how it's against our neighbor.
Oh yeah, it's easy. Just against God, but God, we're saying you don't have enough for us.
Well, an easy one against your neighbor is if you covet your neighbor's wife, it's against him. That's an easy one to see that how bad that is. But then if you covet things, it could drive you to the point where you would then want to steal them from somebody because you've coveted them,
Or
all
steal,
those things.
steal in order to buy the same thing.
Yeah.
To keep up with the Joneses.
Or to step on somebody and steal their job. In our culture today, people just walk over somebody else in order to get a promotion.
Yeah.
I want that job with the corner office. Hey, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to get it. We'll walk over anybody in order to get that. So we can kind of see how those things relate, but sometimes we don't kind of translate that into actually a God.
Most definitely.
But it's always it's completely void of love. That type of action.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not God.
Yeah.
And you see the ambition in people's eyes when they want that job or they want that that recognition, right?
Yeah.
People covet recognition in corporate America. You see it big time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, don't stand in that person's way.
Like this job for me has not been a career development job. My name's at the bottom of the organization chart. I'm doing stuff.
But yet your name
30
starts with a
years
C.
ago. I know, but it's indexed under the first name, not the last name.
Sometimes feels like Zeus. I mean,
But so that one about kind of coveting recognition or that corner office or some promotion or something. That's one I've been struggling with for over this assignment period. Lack of recognition for having been there to help out the project. Now you got a team together where everybody wants to be the chief advisor. So, but taking this question on to how is that against God? Well, I'm dissatisfied with where I'm at.
With what he gave you.
Yeah, with what he gave me. I mean, we can see it maybe in life and things like we're not on the fast track to being millionaires, but we do have good jobs. So why not be happy and satisfied that we have our needs met, that we're well taken care of. Instead, sometimes we can be kind of mad at God for not, having us be born with a silver spoon in our mouth.
Yeah. Why don't I live in Carlton Woods?
Yeah, that kind of thing. And all the castles we've been seeing and all the history that you look at, man, it was the haves and have-nots, the royalty, and then it was the peasants. And I look at some of the churches that were built over there and the edifices, and these are beautiful. Wait, let me stop and think. How did they build these? Oh yeah, it was really the slave labor from the serfs that were all around them.
Yep.
And what kind of thanks did they get? Well, probably not much. They were conscripted into the king's army when he was fighting, and they were fighting all the time. They just loved to fight. And that's part of this too, isn't it? Love to fight. Why? Because you're dissatisfied, coveting power or control, or somebody else's vineyard, or somebody else's wealth.
Coveting Crimea, coveting Eastern Ukraine, coveting.
Okay, so can churches get into this problem of coveting?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So take a look at in that part of England during that time of the world. They were big business. These monasteries
they're
and
big
these
business.
cathedrals.
Business
Yeah,
people would say. Right?
yeah, but not in the same way. There they controlled large areas of territory, actually.
Okay.
And all the people in that territory had to bring tithe. You got to see the tithe barns that these people built. Some of them are huge because they had to store all the grain and all the.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't bringing money. They were bringing goods and produce from the land, and they would bring it into this tithe barn. I'll show you one of these tithe barns. It's like a ship turned upside down.
Oh, wow.
Huge roof.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, and they'd bring it in, and then they'd sell it. And that's how they would get their money and their wealth.
Is this primarily because it was the Anglican church? It was the church. It was...
No, at that point in time, it was the Catholic.
Right.
Okay.
It was all Catholicism during the early part of the between the Anglo-Saxons, between the Romans, then the Anglo-Saxons, and then between that and Protestantism. 1536, I think it was, Henry VIII wanted a divorce. Pope wouldn't give it to him, so he divorced the Pope. Set himself up as the head of the Church of England. And then he went around, busted up all the monasteries, stole the lead from their roof.
Really?
Yeah, just took it over. Yeah. It's called the dissolution.
Wow.
He disallowed all the monasteries and just took everything back. And then he dished out to his friends certain parts of it and so on. But that's where everything kind of got wrecked.
Wow.
And
Lead roofs.
oh yeah, I mean,
We take
valuable
what you-
back then.
Yeah, because it's been refined,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when you take it, you use it for so many other things, and
Yeah.
you have a leaky roof.
Yeah. And as soon as the roof's gone, right, everything else then falls apart inside,
Yeah.
except for these 4 to 6 foot thick walls that you have built.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, somebody wants to bring Catholicism back, and then Oliver Cromwell goes out in the army, and it's the Parliamentarians against the Royalists. Really, it's the Church of England against the Catholics still underneath it. And then Cromwell starts using cannons, and that kind of does in the rest of the monasteries and the castles that that before were being fought with bows and arrows and swords.
Right.
Now it's you got cannonball trying to knocking down some of these walls.
Well, and just fast forward to the 20th century, and all the unrest in Ireland was the same way.
Yeah. And oh yeah, I mean, the church wasn't. I mean, it was not very squeaky clean, and a lot of people point to that in history. And my answer to that is, we don't look to people to be our example, do we?
No.
Christ is the only perfect example.
Yeah.
So even the church can fall flat on its face in this particular one here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And also, we have to be careful that, when we talk about don't be a workaholic, well, we don't want to be a ministryaholic either. In my earlier days, I could probably say that I was over-involved. I was too involved.
Yeah.
I was a ministryaholic, taking time away from my family. And why? Maybe some of it was a true spiritual drive, but maybe some of it was either some recognition or being involved or leadership or, wanting to.
I'm ministering.
Yeah, exactly. And back in the church time, in the Catholic Church reign, it was like, all right, you better bring your tithe in or you're not going to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big guilt trip, man. It was a huge guilt trip. And so we have to be very careful that we're not trying to earn our way to heaven, even by doing church things. Are you? What committee are you on? You're not on 5 committees? Oh. Yeah. Maybe, David.
I didn't see you at the prayer breakfast
That's
on
exactly.
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Exactly.
and Thursday, Steve.
No, I was home praying for you. Yeah, and so it goes back and forth, right? Volley, jab, volley. I kind of grew up, never written. I kind of grew up believing that the most spiritual person was a foreign missionary. The next most spiritual person was the pastor of the church. The next most spiritual person, you see, we got a hierarchy going here. The next most spiritual person was deacon and elder, the true leaders in the church and the programs. And if you were a Christian businessman, you kind of missed the boat. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And, Jesus turns that all upside down when he says, I pray for them, not that you take them out of the world, but that you would keep them in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole Exodus 20 thing, he laid it out pretty clearly, but boy, he sure cut to the chase and summarized it when he got to Matthew 6. He said, what's the greatest commandment? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, vertical relationship, and then love your neighbor as yourself, horizontal relationship.
Yep.
Covers the whole thing. Yeah. So I guess the constant challenge and battle for us is, what's creeping in there to be a God in our life that would take the place of our true love. I was just reading before I came over here this morning, and
While you're praying for him.
Yeah. While I was begging for mercy.
You woke Sheila?
Yeah, unfortunately I did.
Steve.
Yeah. Because your love is better than life. Think about that for a minute. Your love is better than life. What's all this stuff in these commandments, the middle part that's trying to get us to live right? Don't steal, don't kill, don't covet anything of your neighbors. That's all life stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's what we want to think that we're doing well in life. Or I got a mark up on the board. I've done this many of that. My bucket list is half done. Whatever we might want to say in life. And I hate to say this. I don't think of myself as a 62-year-old. I really think I'm about 40.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah,
I'm about 20 years behind where I really am.
Yes.
Up here. My body kind of reminds me very.
I was going to say, I
frequently.
kind of think of you as like 45.
Thank you for the $20. But your love is better than life. Life, I mean, you could be really good. Look at Watson. J.J. Watson is $100 million.
J.J. Watts? Yeah.
Watts.
Watson
Way
guy.
too long.
Yeah.
He
Sherlock
invited the
Watson.
light bulb. I was sorry, I was the wrong century.
No, he was thinking of Watson, Sherlock Watson.
Yeah,
Dr. Watson.
$100 million contract. But what's the life of an NFL player? What? 10 years maybe?
Yeah.
10 years. Right?
Yeah.
And so, we take a look at our careers.
No.
We may have we may change jobs 2 or 3 times in our lifetime, maybe more. But at the end of it, really, it's what our love for the Lord is really going to count. Huh? And I'm beginning to enjoy kind of seeing some grandkids come along. That's that 3rd generation down there.
And all these corny jokes you got from you've been saving them up, sir.
I've been saving them.
It doesn't work.
I try them out on you, but it just
doesn't. No, it falls flat. They're gonna love it.
How about Steve? He's funny.
Funny, yeah. He talk crazy.
Well, just remember, you're your kids' heroes till they're about 14, maybe 10.
I know it's showing.
So take advantage of it while you can. Yep. So, anyways, because your love is better than life, and that kind of should give us context for all of this, right? Because his love is better than life. I had to focus on what's the key thing that these commands were given because people were just bad. We're bad to the core.
Well,
have you watched the movie, by the way?
No, I haven't seen it.
I watched it on the plane. and actually, I've tried really to have an open mind to it because there's a lot of criticism from the Christian community. And Aaron really started thinking, made me think about it. There's only 4 verses in the Bible. If you're going to make a movie on it, you got to come up with some creative things. But some of the creative things are not too far. I mean, some of them came like the sons of man, the fallen angels that were there that looked like rocks, that had angels been turned into rocks, and they came and defended Noah. But they were a bad society. I mean, the Bible makes no bones about it. That's why God wiped the world out, right?
Right.
They were bad dudes. In that, Noah comes to the conclusion we're all bad. We all think that maybe if we follow these, there'd be some spark of good coming out of it. Sometimes it does spark some good, but we're never perfect.
No.
We always have that streak that requires mercy and grace. And that's what the whole arc was all about. It was grace. Mercy were the people who were on board. And grace was a new start.
So otherwise, great, good movie.
I quite enjoyed it. Yeah, I did.
It's probably very violent.
No, there were some violent parts of it.
Oh, okay.
There were some violent parts of it, and
What is it rated? Is it rated R?
no, PG.
13?
It's rated PG.
Okay.
Things you don't think about, like the head of the army on the ground who actually killed Noah's father, clawed his way in, broke a hole in the ark, and actually got inside, and tried to cause a rebellion, sent him against Noah, but it didn't work.
Oh, wow.
So there was a plot to it. So
Yeah, they tried to. They needed to make it a little bit more interesting after only having 4 verses.
Yeah, and it might have strayed a little bit in that we're kind of told that Noah and his 3 sons went into the ark with wives, but it didn't quite work that way. And it showed Noah's. I mean, sometimes we don't hear a clear message from God. We're directed in a certain area, and if you stop to think about how God spoke to Noah, we didn't know how He actually spoke to him. He told him. And Noah felt like this whole world is evil, and God is bringing judgment. He's destroying the world, and that includes us. When we get old and die, you are going to bury me, and you're going to bury your brother, and you're going to bury him. And that's it. God's bringing judgment. But what he didn't understand is God also brought life. And on the ark, twins were born, and they were both girls. And he said if they were girls, they would reproduce this evil culture that God's destroying. So I'm going to kill them. And it came to that point of killing them, and he realized, I can't do this, God. And it was an exhibition of mercy. And it was kind of the mercy that God was showing on this earth by totally wiping out mankind. But by it was kind of, it had an interesting twist to it that you never think about. It took a little bit of license by not having, a wife for all of the boys, but 2 of them, the twins, were born on the ark, which would be wives for the other 2 boys that didn't have wives. It's kind of, what you are left to think with. But, God doesn't leave any question for us to understand from this whole thing that He's first. And, in this world, I sit beside some people on the plane. I said, listen, put aside religion, put aside gender, put aside culture, put aside different countries and languages and all that. What if we treated each other the way we wanted to be treated? So if I have a disagreement, first inclination is not to pick up the axe and go after it. Oh, I want to be treated like him. Have you seen that Discovery commercial on the TV where the guy's talking to himself at the other end of the line?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's asking a bunch of questions, and the answers are always good because he gets to hear what he himself would have said.
Yeah.
So that commercial always makes me think about this.
Yeah.
Treat others the way you'd want to be treated. You pick up the phone with a phone call, you're phoning this stupid credit card company, and you got a problem, and you're raking them out and the other guy on the other side of the phone is treating you nicely and answering all your questions. Sure, we'll take care of that, sir. Oh, well, you're both happy. Why? Because you treated each other the way you wanted. That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
If we do that, man, we would not only be doing this, what God wants us to do, but we would also be not instigating half the worst there are in existence, right? So, yeah. So how in today's world can we observe God's Sabbath principle? This is an interesting.
It's 8 through 11 Sabbath principle. Oh, yeah, we talked about this. It's something that I often struggle with on Sundays. Sundays is sometimes a day just to catch up on some work. I don't rest my work mind.
Okay, what did the Jews think about these Ten Commandments? They were carved in snow. Right. 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 And when Jesus came, what did he say to them? They criticized Jesus and his disciples for picking grain, walking through the grain field on Sunday, right? They criticized Jesus for healing somebody. Jesus says to him, if your donkey fell in a hole, do you think he'd wait till Monday to pull him out? Of course not.
Yeah.
Pull him out on Saturday. Anyways, he says this statement, man, the Sabbath was created for man, not man for the Sabbath. That's what Jesus says to him. Hits him right between the eyes. And he says, I'm the Lord of the Sabbath as well. So he made it very clear. All of this falls under his control, but he really was saying to the Pharisees, listen, don't be so legalistic about this. What's the idea? Pray without ceasing. What does that mean? That means constantly have that relationship with God. So we have a Sabbath day. We ought to really be focusing on the Lord. Yeah. But, you're not bound by legalism.
Yeah.
If you have to do additional work that you couldn't get done during the week and you're wanting to do your job with excellence, there may be time for that, but don't neglect God. And for certain, if you keep that attitude, because he says, if Christ is going to say, listen, it's not just the physical act of adultery, but it's what you're thinking in your mind. It's the same thing with the Sabbath. It's not just going to church. Listen, if it was that easy, going to church would make you a Christian, just like going to McDonald's would make you a Big Mac. Right? And we don't become Big Macs when we walk in the door of McDonald's.
Well, if you walk in there a lot, you become Big Mac.
Yeah. Only if your name is Mac.
I guess I would be a quarter pounder. Over 200 pounds, a quarter pounder.
I've eaten enough bacon. I'd probably be a bacon burger.
Oh, you've tried bacon here.
What? I gotta order something.
You have to go there.
I gotta get something ordered here. I haven't eaten anything. I came late.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, man, you haven't had any coffee either.
No.
And this is all without coffee.
This is all without coffee.
You want to go?
Yeah.
Why don't you go order something?
Okay.
I got time. Yeah.
All right. Do you have time?
Yeah.
Okay.
My boss said I can run into.
Really?
Yeah.
You got a great boss.
I
man.
do. You're not coveting my boss, are you?
You kind of hit the nail right on the head there. Is your name the Holy Spirit? You're very convicting this morning.
No, he needs to be convicted.
Oh, okay.
Hey, come on now.
It's really interesting to see all this, and then to really think about the direction. This was all to teach us, to get to the point where Jesus wanted us not to just think about the outward, but to think about the condition of our heart.
Yeah.
And so critical.
Foundational rules.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate to see us struggle so much in Ten Commandments away from the courthouses today.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense when you take a look at our Supreme Court and the White House and what's written all through it. The Ten Commandments, man. It was foundational to our country. And God has a way of getting to the point in very few words.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't summarize the values that are wrapped up in these 10 items. And I mean, he had it written on a piece of stone that Moses was able to carry.
Yeah.
It wasn't a ton. It had to be, kind of forklifted down the side of the mountain.
You need your breakfast.
Yeah.
Get your breakfast.
All right. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's good to see
I get a
you.
refill of my coffee.
Yeah. I'm going to move the camera around and see if we can get everybody in here.
Yeah.
For next week, definitely. This might work.
Well, I had my 45.
Yeah. Steve right there. What a surprise. Steve, in the flesh.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I didn't remember that he was coming in.
I remember seeing something on Facebook that he was traveling, and it's something about states and something, and then I just kind of, and then no one was here at 6, and so I just kind of went, oh, okay. You're going to be okay.
A little bit of acid reflux and drainage. I guess maybe
Got a little bit of rain. Perk things up a bit. He's going to have the bake.
what do you know he is.
He's going to bake it. One thing I have not seen yet is the bacon bowls in the restaurant.
Bacon bowls?
Maybe I have them at Walmart. You get the bacon bowl maker. It's like a bowl. You got the bacon around this metal thing and makes it a bowl.
And then what do you put in the bowl?
More bacon. Eggs. Quiche. Hash brown.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Cereal?
Maple flavor cereal, maybe. How about oatmeal?
Oatmeal would work.
Yeah.
Oatmeal and bacon.
No, it actually is good.
Okay.
Brown sugar, oatmeal, bacon. They actually have a flavor.
Bacon flavored oatmeal?
Yeah. Look at him. He's like a kid in the candy store. Coffee.
Coffee.
We'll get him acclimated. He's happy.
He's got 2 grandchildren.
Oh man, it's gonna be a mess.
All right.
All these choices. There he is. There you go, sir. Right up.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, you
That's not my age.
No.
No.
There you go. There you
There
go.
we go. All right, perfect.
So when are the children due?
7th and 8th.
Oh, just this
Next
week.
week. Yeah. So I'm trying to get all the, the heavy lifting stuff that I needed to come do for work this week, just in case we get calls and
You take off
zip it
most
out.
of next week.
I doubt I'll take off most of it, but
Once, because Julie and David are in New Braunfels.
yeah, and Aaron and Christy are in Corpus Christi. Yeah, but they're being first for them. Chances that it'll be late for the adopted mom. The chances are she'll be early.
Right. Exactly.
Just my guess is this weekend Drew will be born. Actually, it's an interesting story because Drew is the mom's name and is the name that Julie and David picked out for the baby.
Really?
That's something. Yeah. So I mean, this is pretty amazing. So just really pray for their heart that God would. The mom decided to keep the baby last year, and it's always a risk, and it's always a good thing if a mom can keep her own baby. It's a very selfless act to be able to give up a child when you feel it has a better chance of survival in life with somebody else that you give. That's a huge act of love with this.
Very humble.
We're not talking about abandonment.
No.
About,
It's a humble act
it
too.
is. It really is. Julie and David, Julie was they were having breakfast or meal or something with the adopted mom, and talking with her and so on. And she's pregnant, and the waitress comes in and says, "Oh, when are you having your baby?" And she says, "Oh, this isn't my baby; it's their baby." Right in front of the waitress.
And the waitress is like,
Well, she came back afterwards and said to Julie and David, "Sorry, she's in such an awkward position." She said, "No, don't worry about it." That shows the mom is really ready to do this.
that's good.
And so that's really good. And so God's.
And it's her second. It's the second child, so
She actually had the start of Braxton Hicks, the fake labor pains that came a month ago. Unfortunately, it stopped. So that cook it a little longer.
Yeah, it's got to fully cooked.
Yeah.
wait for Grandma and Grandpa to
That's it.
That's
That's
over
it.
the pond.
I'd have been able to send Grandma over, but I
feel
wouldn't
for
have
the
made
child.
it.
For the child. I mean, look at that laugh.
Yeah.
Great for the children.
A generation with this kind of humor are.
Doggy dog.
Yes.
Well, they call it
That's
humor.
right. They,
Yeah.
Some do.
They label it humor, yes. Yeah, we know about labels.
Yeah.
Things that are.
Yeah. So yeah, prayers would be very much appreciated for everybody around. I think Drew's mom, like the grandma, is having a struggle letting go. She's trying to tell the adopted mom that they can help take care of the baby, but she already has one and doesn't feel she can handle two on her own.
Right.
And so she feels this is the right decision.
So, what type of relationship will they have with Drew, the mom?
They've said that that Julie and David have said we're not wanting to block you out of life forever. I mean, he's obviously going to know that he wasn't ours. He'll be a different color, and we will tell him that he was adopted and he was chosen. And we're open to meeting for his birthday and Christmas or things like that if you'd like to see him. So,
Excellent.
sounds like sometimes those relationships don't work and they can get overly possessive. We don't know exactly how it's going to go. Thank you.
Sorry,
Thanks.
Look at that. He's got cheese on top of this. Why didn't we order it?
Absolutely.
What is that some
This
kind
young
of
lady.
I know, she's good.
Next time I'm ordering with cheese.
Goodness. This is lunch too, guys.
I know, this is what I do. This is big, yeah. Isn't it nice?
Oh, it is. Yeah. It's
And the
really
coffee,
nice.
it's like real coffee.
Yeah.
It's Italian.
Lord, all this good food and these great friends, your word. thank you for your love for us. And a reminder that your love is better than life. May that help us as we think of the difficulties we face each day as our wives and families. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, guys.
So we hit the 10 keys of character. That's awesome. So this has been just a wonderful study this week. We had a surprise
Yeah.
host. See, and we're looking for you. See right here? Who's that? We're looking for who? You. So when you're getting the phone call, and you get that, if you have Hangouts going on, you go right there, and your face will be right there.
Terrific.
I know. You're excited, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
I know.
We got to get this thing back up and working. I've missed it so much. And,
Well, we've been trying to, try to get Mark back, but he's not really been available.
how's he doing? Is he making ends meet? Or still,
I think so.
We really have. He looks like he's lost some weight.
Yeah.
Um,
He was dancing on the stage
Oh.
yesterday or Sunday.
his performance is always just spot on. Guy.
I think Jacob Abel's dancing, right?
Yeah.
Is prompting.
Everybody else to kind of
Yeah.
move a little
So
bit
now
more.
Mark's moving a bit more. So they would go back. You just go back to like there's a Monday.
Yeah, he is. That kid is.
Yeah,
He's sharp.
he was in our Boy Scout troop.
I can see that. Definitely see that.
Yeah, and his younger brother is still in the troop. And really good friends with the Wilkins, Sean and Connie Wilkins.
Okay.
So I think they started coming to Stonebridge because Jacob wanted to come to Stonebridge. He was really good friends with Caleb Wilkins. And,
He's an amazing addition up there.
yeah,
what does he play?
No, he's
he's a singer.
Oh, singer.
So
And
young kid
dancer.
just in he's going to
Lone
Lone Star.
Mm-hmm.
And just really bright, really nice guy,
High energy.
high energy. Yeah, he's an actor too. So,
Oh, I can
so
see
for
that.
years he was doing the what's the big theater company here? They do
Not the cats.
no, but they do their performances at McCullough, and they've done some pretty big productions. I know Joe has been in some of those productions and stuff. And anyway, so
Yeah.
he was the lead guy in a whole range of plays and stuff.
Grateful.
Yeah.
Very good.
So if you're not in Corpus or
Yeah.
in
That's the thing. I'm not sure where we're going to be this weekend. I hope we can actually come to church Sunday morning. But we'll see what transpires.
house in good shape,
Mm-hmm.
you have someone sitting in it? Okay.
Yeah, Mallory Pringle was there for the first year and a quarter, and she has now started school down in Houston. So we had to get somebody else. So it was, when Sheila was here in July, we met Andrea, and so she stayed in the house. She was contact through Rudy Skinner, and so she's staying at the house. Haven't met her yet. Sheila met her last time she was here. She's going to come over while we're here and we'll get a chance to meet her.
That's awesome.
But that's really great.
Yeah, you don't have to worry.
No, there's a few things I got to do around the house, but she's basically living upstairs, so I got to change the plunger and the flapper and the toilet. Downstairs it's just running.
We don't
Water
really need to
a little
hear
bit.
that.
Oh, well.
Come on.
A
Really?
few little things that I had to change the light bulb outside. Guess what Sheila brought home from the animal shelter was? I mean, I've only been here a day, right? And she's got 2 puppies in the backyard already. So last night I had to go out in the dark And you know, the poor things didn't have any light, so I had to change the light bulb so they had some light at night. Get them some food.
Oh, and you're really complaining. Was
Oh.
false complaining. First thing she does is get a couple of puppies. The poor things with no light, and I had to get the lights out there.
No, I really like it. It's just, I'm just constantly amazed at someone who didn't grow up with dogs. And really, I mean, she says she doesn't like them, but she likes them. She just doesn't want to have one. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference there. And she's way too practical sometimes. We're traveling so much, so we can't have one. You know what I mean? It's very practical, right? I'm not really on the practical side. I've had this dog in my house for about 6 weeks. I'm about ready to adopt it and, you know, make it part of the family.
Right.
And she's saying, you know, if we do that, we can't take other dogs in and we can't care for them.
She likes being a foster.
Yeah. And the nice part about it is just that we meet lots of dogs. And we end up meeting lots of fosters who take the dogs.
Yeah.
So
It's a win-win. Yeah.
She knows that if we take the dogs home, their chance of survival is much higher.
Right.
That's the key thing. Like,
Kind of give them a spark of life.
well, no, it's like an older person going into the hospital is more susceptible to pick up whatever's in the hospital. Only these are on the younger side before they've had any of their vaccinations and haven't built up any resistance to life. They're in the early part. They go into a dog kennel that may not have been quite cleaned well, or rub shoulders with some of the dogs in there that have something or other. You know, they could pick it up. So get them out of there and put them into a nice setting.
Yeah, that's
for
what.
a couple of weeks while you're fostering them. It's healthy.
Get them used to people too.
Exactly.
That's what our guy that we adopted Stella from. He says, just Stella. Yes. Said that the dog needs to be out. You know, we're trying to keep him out of the shelters because the puppies, those are the ones that he got them before they even reached the shelter. So she's been very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Once they go into shelter, there's all kinds of. Because we've had a few shelter dogs that they have syndromes and stuff like that. They're horrible.
In cages.
Sometimes they do, and sometimes all it takes is love.
Yeah.
You know, to get them over it. And that may take a while, but I'm sure was telling me one guy came in and they were able to help him get a dog. And it looked like the dog had been bound on his feet, like tied. I mean, some people do some very nasty things to animals, you know? They don't care for them. Wow. One thing we've noticed in England is people really try to care for their dogs pretty well. They take pretty good care of their animals. Just a general rule, or a general observation. Doesn't always work that way. This lady from the U.S. paid probably over $1,000 to get a dog over there, walking on a leash in the park. And another lady was on her cell phone, and her dog was not on a leash. Just walks by this dog and drops him by the neck, shakes him and kills him. They don't. And she walks off, still on the phone, doesn't do anything about it.
Didn't notice?
Oh, she noticed, I'm sure, but she didn't want to stop.
Oh, these, you know, what can you do? These dogs, you can't do anything.
Yeah. Wow. So that was in the London paper about 6 months ago. Yeah. I don't think they ever found her. They want to get a hold of that dog. Not a very nice dog.
Wow.
Do the same for a small child.
See, that's the thing. You know, it is.
It's an overly aggressive dog.
You guys are dead right. This is a good breakfast.
We.
I will try and be on time next week.
Oh well, now you know. No, you know.
5:30, right?
No, it's 6. They don't open till 6. You can be here at 5:30.
Yeah. They'll let you sit out front and watch them.
As soon as it turns 6 o'clock, even if they haven't turned the sign on, you can run in.
Yeah. They know us.
We're usually the first people here.
Yeah.
At 6. Yeah, that's
Bible study group?
yeah, that group. They're a group from one of the 2 Catholic churches. And then seen some other people here on occasion. Jay Nowlin was meeting with a guy for a few weeks.
He's at Woods Edge.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, the food's better, they get Wi-Fi, the coffee's better. It's an hour later.
Mm-hmm. It's a
And it's
no.
less distance for you guys running.
Yeah, that and you know one other thing that we didn't predict is that the on Wednesday, a few weeks ago, the IHOP got robbed. At about the same time we would go there.
Oh yeah, armed robbery.
Because
Because you know, it's feast or famine whether there's 12 sheriff's department people or none, right?
And that was the nun day. I guess.
That was a none day. Yeah, there's been a few of those.
And that was usually 5:45.
That's nonsense. I'm sorry. Somebody had to say it.
You say you're sorry, but yet you knew before it came out of your mouth.
It would be a groaner. I'm just giving him material. He's, getting him prepared for grandpahood.
Yeah.
I have my my in-laws, my father, I'm the in-law, he is the king of the groaners.
Uh-huh.
And he puts out stuff. And he's going, started when they're little kids, and he goes, do you know, Robert, we're having victuals for dinner, and there's garments on your back. And he has it in that way, and he's doing it, and Robert's going, no, Papa, no!
Riddles? There's a garment on my back?
Then the laugh comes. Oh, Papa. He's good. He's a worst.
Vittles and beverages?
Oh.
Garments.
Well,
Beverages. Yeah.
Garments or garment? I mean, garments.
See, that's what it sounds like. It sounds
it's a
like
garment.
Garment? Wouldn't that be a mean?
A garment garment would be like one of those coonskin hats.
Yeah.
But see, as a kid, you're going, no, that's not true. You can't make me eat fiddles. Loves to read, so he'll keep the kids. They'll only out of self-defense do they read. That if they can, educate themselves, they won't have to worry about those kind of jokes.
How old are they?
Now it's 10 and 11.
Yeah, see, they still like their grandpa.
Oh, they love their grandpa. Oh man, Papa's awesome. You're getting ready to have.
They put up with you because of him.
Well,
Yes.
I think back to even my kids. I loved reading at night before going to bed. I was able to be home and be with them during the day while I was working. Couldn't be. But that was kind of our time, before going to bed. Reading a Bible story, lay it down with them in bed, praying for the book. I just cherish those memories very much.
Getting ready to start again.
Yeah.
Except you got Dupos. That's what we call diapers. Messy business. That was my greatest fear as being a dad, and God produced a son that pooped twice in the first 5 minutes of his life.
Yeah,
Great.
yep.
Now it's fixed. I was not a worthy man anymore. That's all it took.
I had some great times with my kids changing diapers. Oh man, you just have to just jump in there and do it.
Yeah, you just got to do it. You can't think. If you think too much about it, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. I mean, first kid, I thought about too much. I was like, that is too. It's gonna make me completely sick, and then afterwards, I was a pro.
Yep.
Which son proposed on the parking garage?
Brian.
Ryan.
Yep.
Yes. So how are they doing?
Yeah, they're doing all right. We were just talking last night a little bit about that. I think they're going to go to Vegas to get married.
Okay.
What would you expect anything else than
Maybe not.
than that from our son Brian? I mean, anyways, we're talking about how to, kind of please Dad a little bit. And just some seriousness with marriage. So, we may have a quick ceremony here, or if they arrange it in December, she'll and I will be able to go to Vegas. So, that would work.
Why would they pick Vegas? I mean, what's
I don't know.
What's
They
the
always
draw?
wanted Elvis to marry them, I think. I don't know where it came from. It was either, I think it was Emily's idea to get married in Vegas or something. I don't know what it was. They came up with it somewhere between the two of them. And
Posing on the roof of the parking garage was interesting. Was that the parking garage behind Market Street, along the side there?
I believe it was on the roof of the theater.
Oh, the theater parking garage. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do they rent that out? Just drove up there with a table and set it up. And
Brian had his friend take the table up there, set it up. And
were they going to go to a movie or something?
I don't know. I guess something like that.
Okay, guys. I think I'm gonna have to cruise, unfortunately.
Yeah, you get to work, don't you?
How's school?
It's going well. I think we're leveling classes. I'm tired. That's if you look at my face, I'm about to pass out.
Well,
But
I thought you looked pretty normal.
thanks. Yeah. False no false witness.
Little less hair on top.
Oh, yeah, That's
But
kinda
so is
okay.
mine. I'm surprised you have made a few jokes about mine.
No, sir. No. I'm proud that you're holding on to those few you have.
Yeah, I'm holding on to them all right.
He's pulling for you.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I did get a cut a little shorter on top than what I normally do.
I was
but
going to
that's
say
okay.
a little military. That's all right.
And I come back and Brian's got a beard and he's growing his hair with a little clip on top, a little longer. And I'm saying to myself, is this Vons or I went back in that time. I mean, we changed places, I had a little longer hair. And
You were the Fonz.
Is he getting a Duck Dynasty beard?
Not quite that long, but it's fairly long. It makes his face look further down. It's a couple of inches down.
He's been doing the McScrufferson.
Oh, I shave once a week.
Whether you need to or not.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's been a workout. It's been a growing season. So
In the last month and a half, Julie and David sold their house, bought a new one, had to move somewhere else for 2 weeks in between, changed jobs, both of them to New Braunfels. Julie had to find a job, David was the reason to move. And then they went to drop off Adia at this school, and the teachers were fighting, and the kids were fighting, and Julie says, I'm not sure that this is the right place for Adia. So she ends up in the Christian school, and it's about for the Christian school down in New Braunfels.
wow.
So it's really neat for her formative years. Good deal.
Yeah.
So Grandma and Grandpa kicked in a few extra bucks to
Make it happen.
make the difference and make it happen. So all of that happened, and we're really excited. I mean, all of that.